There you go.
Oh, finally.
It's okay. We got time. We ain't got nothing but time and opportunity around here.
All right, good.
So, Miss Mel, Queen T,
Yes.
you have an interesting catalog.
Really? You think so?
I do.
Okay, I'm
I
all
don't know
over.
about nobody else, but I liked it.
Thank you.
I
I'm
had to
all over the place sometimes.
I had to do my research so I before I come up here and start talking to y'all.
Okay.
So, introduce yourself, the genre you write in or genres that you write in, and anything you want us to know before we get started.
Okay, sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Tatiana, but I go by the pen name Queen T. I I dabble in everything. Like I write paranormal, I write urban romance, urban fiction, sometimes urban lit. By day, I'm a special education teacher, which is why I have a pen name. And I'm a mother of twin girls, and I have bonus children, another set of twins. So my household is full of a lot of kids.
God damn.
Yeah.
So, was there a specific time in your life that you just knew you wanted to be a writer? And how did it all come together?
I think since I was young, I want to say like maybe 7 or 8.
Hmm.
Like I went to like Catholic school all my life, and a lot of the things they had us doing was writing plays, just writing in general. And I remember one of my teachers that I had, Sister Rose. It's crazy. I still remember her name, like almost 30 something years ago. She had us write like a short story, giving like 3 prompts. It was an egg, cracking the egg, and making something or something like that. And I wrote like a little short blurb. And from there, she just kept telling me, like, for my age, that I wrote really detailed. And I never really understood what it was, but something about the way that she kept praising what I wrote, and then she read it to the next classroom and all this other stuff. I, in the back of my head, I was like, oh, maybe I want to write. So at 7, I knew I had an idea, but I never really explored it until my graduation year when I got my bachelor's degree. I figured I have like this little chunk of time before I decide if I want to get my master's. So let me try to write something. And so I worked for the Board of Ed. So I was behind a computer all day. And thankfully for me, my supervisor was my sister's baby father.
Mm.
So I kind of let him know, I'm like, hey, I think I have this idea I want to kind of write. Is it okay? In between, he's like, do what you need to do. So I wrote it from August to September. So like about a month I wrote it. I really didn't know how good it was, but I knew that I wanted to get it out just to test the waters to see if this is the avenue I wanted to go, or if I'm just going to go straight to school. And so I went on a mission trying to find a publisher, and that's how I met my first publisher. And from there, I signed and I dropped my first book, which was Karma Before Conscience. And that was in 2018.
So, was there a particular book, author, or uh, cultural moment that drew you to urban fiction? Because you write a lot of urban fiction, you write some contemporary, you also have a little YA in there, or new adult. I'm gonna say new adult. I ain't gonna say YA, new adult. So, what was the moment that you knew the genres you were trying to get dive into?
I never had a like idea until like recently when I said I wanted to like touch a little bit on like some soft romance heavy here and there.
Hmm.
But when I first started, like in 2018, the thing that a lot of people were trying to do was trying to chart. And so I had a publisher who wasn't really big on, jumping from genre. He was more so stay here, and if you do execute it, then we'll think about it. Um, I want to say like around November of 2018, I wanted to write a paranormal, and it just came to me one day. I was seeing so many people in different book groups because I'm a reader first. So I
Hmm.
would be in book groups and I would see so many people saying there's not enough like urban paranormal, like they have to jump to different, races in order to get that taste of paranormal. And so I had an idea for a paranormal. I brought it to my publisher at the time and he was like, no, it's not going to do good. Leave it alone. And so after I finished my contract, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to get it out because to me the idea was different. It wasn't like a shifter romance. It wasn't like Wolves or anything that I was reading. And so I wanted badly to get it out. And so when I finished my contract, I jumped to paranormal. And so I wrote like 3 paranormal books. And that's what opened my eyes from, okay, well, I don't have to really be boxed. I can go to different genres and still be happy with writing because I'm a mood writer. So there could be times where I can push out 1, 2, 3 books back to back. And then there'll have times where I'm just not really in the mood to write something.
Mm.
So at that time, when I wrote that book and then I wrote the second one right after it, I was just in the mood for paranormal. So I really don't have like a say on when. It's just whatever's calling to me at the time is what I write.
You talk about being a mood writer.
Hmm.
How do you feel about mood readers when you come out with a book and you know this is your niche, as far as you know this book is the motherfucking bomb, and you know you have the readers, but they're mood readers. How do you handle that?
That's such a tough thing to really like. It's hard to really like hold them like have any like ill intent or ill feelings about it because at the
Mhm.
end of the day, people are gonna read what they want.
Yeah.
If they're at that space where they're just not like mentally there to like really indulge, because for me, like I feel like reading is an experience. It's either going to be a good one or it's either going to be one that's not the best, but it'll stick to you in some way, whether it's good or bad. So I can't hold anybody, accountable for them not being in the movie because I'm the same way too. I could be reading a series and then I wait a couple months and then the next part drops and then I have to read the first one because I need to revise what I forgot from from waiting. And so I come from the era where I used to get books on 165th in Jamaica because I'm a New York girl. And we would wait years for part 2s. So I was accustomed to like, okay, I could wait a long time for a part 2 to come because, writers at that time were pushing books literally on the street. So you had to catch
Mhm.
them for a second part. There was no Kindle Unlimited. There was no ebooks. There was no KDP. There was none of that. You had to catch them and they would tell you, hey, I have part 2 coming out. I'll be here. So I can't fault anybody who, if I write something and I feel like, oh, this is it, and it doesn't get the light that it sees, I'm just going to keep working harder and pushing because something's going to stick to you. Whether it's a book I had from 2018, whether it's my recent books, you're going to find something. It's going to stick to you eventually. So I don't hold anything. I feel like every defeat is only a rising stepping stone for you to continue doing what you love because at the end of the day, I love writing just as much as I love teaching. So I'm going to keep doing it whether I'm indie, whether I'm with a publisher, whether I have support, whether I don't. I'm going to keep doing because that's what I want to do. And when I'm in the headspace where I'm like, okay, this is it, I'm done, I'm not going to do it, then I'm going to bow gracefully and know that I gave what I can. I gave my all to everything that I put, and hopefully it'll resonate with somebody.
So you being a black author, a black female author, um, how do you define the genres that you're in? Let's start with urban fiction and paranormal. How do you define that as a black author in cultural relevance? How do you define those genres to you?
Well, to me, like it always feels like some part of it doesn't have to necessarily because this is the thing. Like I feel like when people hear urban, they automatically hear ghetto. They
Mhm.
automatically hear people who are in the poverty line. They don't see it as different elements. Like you can be like I'm from Queens, New York. Everybody knows Southside Jamaica, Queens is not the best parts of New York. For me,
Mhm.
that would be more of an urban setting. However,
Mhm.
it doesn't necessarily mean there has to be a drug dealer running by. It doesn't necessarily mean there's a mother who can't feed their kids. Like it's not poverty stricken. It's elements of urban, whether it's a little bit of here and a little bit of that that you sprinkle in, but you don't necessarily have to hit that stereotype that people think when they think of urban. So that's the way I feel. I feel it's where you come from. It's a state of mind. However, it's also the elements that you grew up in because it necessarily doesn't have to be in the ghetto and I'm putting quotes, the
Yeah.
ghetto atmosphere, but it could also be of things you've seen, places you've been. Like everywhere in New York is not the same. You can go in parts of Queens is beautiful, and then you can parts of Queens that's not. You can go to parts of Brooklyn. Like I literally lived in Brooklyn when I was a teenager. You can go parts of Brooklyn where it's not the best, but then you could have $1 million brownstones right around the corner. So those
Mm.
elements are things that you live with, things you've explored, and things you've experienced. So for me, that's my urban things that I've experienced.
What about paranormal?
Well, paranormal for me, I feel like paranormal is pretty much what you could think of. Like when I think of paranormal, I think of out of the world things. Like I'm
Mm.
thinking of people going through teleporting. I'm thinking of magical elements. I'm thinking of different worlds. I'm thinking of exploring different worlds, different feelings, different elements. Like I'm
Mm.
a big paranormal person. Like I love, like I hate to say it now because my husband's like, I'm too old. I love Twilight. I loved Harry Potter. I loved all those magical things that would put you in a different headspace when you're
Mm.
coming from, never seeing that, never experiencing that. So with me, when I write paranormal, I always write it with a twist of romance. Whether it's, things that are happening where they're teleporting to a land of different seas or whether they're going underwater, there's always some romance to it. So everything that I write
Yeah.
has that, but it has like a twist of romance.
So, what is the importance of you spoke on how urban fiction is considered hood to some people, and those some people you are dumb bitches, but to some people is considered hood, is considered struggle love, you name it. How do you feel urban fiction is often misunderstood or underrepresented in the literary world, and that is across the board, traditional and indie?
Absolutely. I feel like anytime someone sees, even with the way covers have evolved,
Mm-hmm.
nowadays you're seeing so much more softer, beautiful urban covers versus the
Mm-hmm.
really um, early 99, 2000 party flyers is what we call them in New York, party flyer covers, or like just the old school masterpiece CDs where people would have, people just like on different things, different money, guns, and things like that. I feel like a lot of people, when they see something in the urban space, they automatically assume that. Like, I've had conversations in, school. Like, I've been in school almost all my life. And I've had conversations with people who, when I've told them, oh, I write books, they automatically assume I'm writing something urban. And then when I explain to them, like, I've tapped into urban. Yes, I am an urban writer. However, I do write romance. I do write paranormal. I write other things as well. So a lot of times when people think of brown and black people, they automatically think that's what they're going to get in books. And that's why a lot of times when we try to, show the representation that it's more to it than, just the covers. Because a lot of people see covers and they just assume like, yeah, I'm not going to read this cover. Just really, a cover is worth 1,000 words is what people say.
Yeah.
However, you'll have covers that are so simple. Like I have a book that I've had from 2001 that I bought off the street. It's literally pink and white, and it says just the author's name and the title. Reading it, you would never think, you would think, oh, it's a soft romance, but it's an urban book. However, it's not everybody's dying. It's not baby mamas, three, four baby mamas. It's not a hood guy giving all kinds of lies and all kinds of stuff. It has the urban elements in it. However, for me, I felt the author felt I don't want to be boxed in because people automatically assume with whatever representation of the cover, it's going to have those contents. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like sometimes when people think of urban, that's the first thing they think of: violence, drugs, stereotypical romance, hood, toxic relationship, abusive men. They just think of just the worst. When sometimes you're getting some of the best books
Yeah.
days off, and it doesn't even have not even a stitch of a guy with three, four baby mamas.
I think a lot of times black people fall into the stereotype of Eurocentric bullshit. And so when they think that it's urban, they don't understand urban is the backdrop. The actual characters are the plot. You know what I'm saying? Urban can be in the Caribbean. Urban can be in the UK. Urban can be in Africa, on the continent. You know what I'm saying? Nigeria, the country. You know what I'm saying? Urban can be anywhere. It's just a backdrop. It's just a living, breathing entity in regards of where we live at. And I feel like a lot of times people lose the plot. They
Mm-hmm.
lose the plot. They are so focused on the urban part, they don't see the bigger picture. You know, um, it's unfortunate because they always come down on y'all.
Mm-hmm.
They always come down on black authors. But if a white author, if a white author writes a black character in an urban neighborhood, Mile High, if they write that, they're just, oh my God, I can't believe this white person wrote about us.
Mm-hmm.
That is crazy to me, and it's a bad thing for the community because those people don't see y'all as the talented authors that y'all are, and I can't stand it. I can't stand it. Nor am I gonna address it anymore. But I hate it. I fucking hate it. So, how do you think the industry can better support and uplift uh indie authors, especially those in the genres of like urban fiction, paranormal, contemporary romance, because they will embrace our slave talk, but they won't embrace our real talk. So how do you think the industry can support y'all?
You know what? I always say that it takes nothing but 2 seconds to share a link. Even
Mm-hmm.
if it's not something that's your cup of tea, you could always support that way. Like, I'm big on whether I'm indie or with a publisher, I'm big on support. And even just sharing a release day link, you have no idea what the number of people on your page can do.
Mm-hmm.
You can simply say, happy release day, share the link, support. Support is free. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of people think that you have to support by, buying the book. Yes, we love it when you buy the book. We love it when on our release date, you guys buy the book, read it, and review. But sharing the link,
Mm-hmm.
reviewing, adding reviews, because for us, it's a way of growing, but it's also a way of appreciation. Like for me, I get so nervous on release dates, not only because I'm curious to know if you like it or if you don't, but then I get nervous when it's release date and the second date and there's no reviews, there's nothing, because it lets me. It's like, did you like it? Did you not? Like for me, whether it's a 1 star, two, three, four, five, I grow from each and every one of them. And every comment that I get on every book I read, because it lets me know as an author what I need to focus more on. Maybe I
Mm-hmm.
wrote the book a little too fast and didn't really flush out all my ideas. Maybe I could have worked a little bit more and expanding the story so it didn't have to be a second part.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like just comments just giving me constructive criticism, whether it's good or bad, because it helps me grow as the author. But as an indie author, sharing, reviewing is the best way that you can support me.
I see that you have the Chrome bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
I have been asking for more motorcycle clubs. They, um, I'm in a motorcycle. Actually, I'm president of a motorcycle club. So just seeing black people in the element of motorcycles, motorcycle life in books is amazing to me. I've only been able to see like Genesis Woods, Virgo Girl, Jaquel J, Tatiana, you, Dominique Thomas, freaking Sheree Lewis, y'all, and Casey Mills. Y'all have wrote these worlds of motorcycle clubs, black motorcycle clubs. So, what made you say this is the story I want to write? And I just want to say this: that's a romance suspense. That because this is a lot of fuckery, foolery, and bullshit going on in that motherfucking book. But I but that's my opinion. That's my opinion. Before if anybody read it, that's just my opinion. But what made you want to write that?
You did.
Me?
I was on one of your lives, and I can't remember who you were interviewing. And somebody had wrote in the comments, as an author, what is it that you guys want to see more of? And the first thing you said, more motorcycle romances. And that was, I want to say maybe 2 months ago, I believe so, or something like that. But yep, you definitely said that. And I had the story in my head, but I was waiting, like, okay, should I do it? Should I not? At the time when I was writing the story, I was with a publisher. And then when we parted ways, I kind of didn't want to step on her toes because I knew she was going to probably do it as a group project. But after I wrote it, my husband sat down and read it, my sister read it, and they were like, you know what, just put it out, see what happens. At the end of the day, you always say that you want to write something different. This is something different. So I said, all right, let me see. But yes, a conversation you had when I was on one of your lives.
Wow. What?
Yes.
Girl, let me drink.
I'll drink with you.
Cause goddamn, what?
Hmm. Yeah.
Oh my god. So where are you gonna go with this?
Well, I'm currently writing the second part. That's almost done actually. After I finish the second part, then I'm trying to dabble on how I'm going to introduce the next club that was mentioned in the first one because they're going to be the one to complete the series. So once I finish with that, um, I don't know. I'm just going to see how it's received. If it's received well, I'll continue on. Like I enjoyed writing it. It was messy drama for me.
It
It was messy drama for me, and I enjoyed writing. Like it literally, like when I say I write at night. So my kids go to sleep, I write at night, and then I wake up and go to work. I wrote it, and it just was. I'm like no sleep. My husband had to come get me from the computer. He's like, go to sleep, because I was writing from like 12 to like 3, 4 in the morning, and then I had to get up at 6 to go to work. But yeah, it's almost done. So once I finish that, it will go to the editor. It will be ready, and then I'm gonna sit down a little bit and try to explore the other two motorcycle clubs and try to give them a fitting in the day.
oh, that is so fucking dope. That is so fucking dope. Hey, authors out there, you see what she did? Give me my motherfucking gargoyles. That's all I said. Um, I love the fact that you didn't make it like just a happily ever after type shit. You made that shit so fucking messy. And I mean, he couldn't win for losing. What messy, messy. I love it. That's why I say it's romance suspense. Cause every fucking time somebody done betrayed somebody,
Mm-hmm.
somebody done fucked somebody, somebody done did something to something to something to somebody, and it's just like I thought we was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you was my boy. I thought you was my girl. Why's you? That's why I say romance suspense.
I
That's
agree.
that's why I know Amazon be putting y'all in these categories off
Mm-hmm.
the cuff that y'all black, but that MC romance should have been romance suspense.
And they kept me in there for like a couple of weeks, and then they just moved me back to urban romance again. Like, I think a couple of days ago, which I'm gonna probably try to see if I can get back out of there. But yeah, Amazon tends to like bounce us back and forth where they feel, and it's kind of annoying a little bit, but we have no control over it.
Yeah. Code, author code. I know you said you're gonna write my gargoyle book, but I would like a multitude of people writing gargoyle books. It's like a bitch who got options for the dick. Okay? I'm just saying. Putting that out there. So, do you think that even though you said you're writing on different, you're trying to see how the people take the book or whatever. And as a reader, I know sometimes books don't get the recognition they should, and I don't want you to stop. I don't want you to stop because there's not enough of y'all. It's just not enough of y'all that write either paranormal or MC romances. It's just not enough of y'all. And I think with Jaquel, getting that top spot,
Mm-hmm.
I hope that's motivation for y'all to be like, you know what? fuck the shit. I'm gonna do this shit.
It
Cause
is.
it's not enough for y'all.
It's a lot of motivation. Like not only because like she's a New Yorker, of course,
Yeah.
but it's just seeing her grind, her work ethic, and just she's overall people. Like she wants people to win. So it's not as if she made sacrifices. She did what she had to do. She got what she deserves it. For
Yes.
me, that's as in now being indie and gonna be indie for a while, that motivated me. Like I was telling my husband, I was like, yo, this is somebody from next door. Like, Staten
Mhm.
Island is right here from where I'm at. So to see that is like, I'm happy we're finally getting recognition because it's so hard to even see us chart, like, let alone around the world. Like, that's a big deal. Big deal.
And that's why I say, and I will always say this, and no offense, no shade to you white authors, and all defense and all the shade to you white authors. Black authors are top tier. Black authors and POC authors is top tier. And I will say this to my dying breath. Zodiac Academy was full with so many grammatical errors. It was ridiculous. And that's traditionally published. It is not taken away from that author, but know that those authors know that there are plenty of indie authors that write better than y'all. And I'm gonna stick with that. I'm gonna stick with that because y'all do. And ma'am, you are new to me. And I went through your catalog. I'm a fast reader any goddamn way. But but I went through your catalog. You have sports romance, you have new adult, you have paranormal, you have um urban fiction, you have romance suspense. Amazon got it wrong.
Mhm.
You have all these things. How do you maintain your imagination writing through all these genres without saying no, I should stay in this niche, this box, because it's comfortable? How do you expand without talking yourself out of it?
It took a while for me to do it because when I first started writing, the only voice in my head that I kept hearing was my publisher, my former publisher, telling me, you have to write what's on the chart. Look at the books on the chart. You have to write like this. And I just kept like in my head, I'm like, I just can't see myself just being a copy of somebody else. Like I have to be my own person. I have to have my own ideas. I have to have my own voice. And so when I dipped into paranormal and enjoyed it, I'm like, okay, I want to stay here a little bit. But then when it got to the point where I was feeling like I wasn't exploring it the way that I wanted to, like my imagination was just not creating the world I was envisioning, I was
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, let me jump to romance. I love romance. I love black love. I love love, period. And so I wanted to write about no toxic love, about a man loving a woman, a natural hair, and I hate to
Mm-hmm.
say it, dark skin, because I didn't see a lot of those growing up. Like I was taught that we were just not desirable. And I was like, I want to write somebody who looks like me, who has natural curves, who has horsey hair, who wears glasses, who's dark skinned, who's maybe like a person who you wouldn't see as the main character energy,
Mm-hmm.
but she has all these things going. Like me, I have 3 degrees. I'm married. I have kids. I'm an educator. I literally have all these children who I am in charge of their education. And yet, I don't see that representation in any book. I see a black, dark skinned woman as a loud best friend or the accidental baby mother. And I just got sick of it. It got to the point where I'm like, I'm all for every shade of black to win, but I just want to see me in a book. And so when I started dipping into romance, that's the vision that I wanted. I wanted someone who was like me, someone who, I have a lot of mouth. Like I talk with the best of them, but that's just me. But at the same time, I could also be a lady. I could also be sweet. I don't have to be the loud person to be seen. And so when I dip into romance, that's what I see. When I dip into urban fiction, hood stuff, I just think of growing up in the 90s in New York and how, at times it wasn't the best. And just, being around different people. Like I grew up in Queens, but I hung out in Marcy Projects. I hung out in Baisley Projects. I hung out in so many different places and seen so many different things that even my mother now doesn't know. So when I dip into that urban lit kind of, I remember all the things that I went to as a teenager growing up to adult. So with everything that I put in, it's from experience, it's
Mhm.
from things that I want, and it's from just imagination at times. Sometimes I could be sleeping and have an idea in my head, and I pop up and my laptop's here, and I will pop it over and start writing notes and saying, okay, how can I explore this better so it can be a story that makes sense, that has connections to it? How can I get these characters? Who do I envision as these characters? What do I see? When I was writing my book, Stolen Loyalty, I've seen just a big teddy bear looking guy with freckles. And I, like, where the heck did I get that? And then I looked at my husband and I'm like, I wrote an image of you, someone who's a teddy bear with freckles, who's like,
Mhm.
so it's like I have different ideas and they come to me in weird, strange ways. And I guess that's just being a creative. Like you don't know when your creativity is just going to hit you. And so with each thing, I make sure I have so many notes, I have so many books, so many things that I want to explore and get to. But I always try to see how can I make this a story?
What is your why as an author?
What is my why?
What is your why?
I don't know. I've never really thought of it.
So what drives you um to keep writing? What drives you to keep writing even in the face of challenges? What drives you? What is your why?
I guess just knowing that it's something that I love to do.
Mm-hmm.
Every book that I put out with the intention that it's probably going to not reach where I want it to be, but that's
Mm-hmm.
okay. A setback for me is just an elevator for me to get to the next level. And so when I write these books, I write them with the intention of knowing that even if five people write it and five reviews come in, I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy. Because as an author, I feel, okay, someone's seeing it. It may not be on the level of some of, these authors who I find are amazing. However, I feel like it just takes that one reader, that one book blogger, or that one book and you'll be seen. And so that's why I write. I write because I know eventually I'll be where I need to be. It may not be a fast situation. It may not be tomorrow. It may not be next week, but it's going to happen because I have a passion of wanting to do it. And I do it not for what I gain from it, not for royalties or not for anything, because I have stories that I want people to read. And I have stories I want to resonate with people, whether it's that single mother who's struggling to make ends meet, whether it's that college student who has that one semester left, but all kinds of difficulties come up and she has to find a way to pay for school before getting kicked out, whether it's that one older sister who is now in charge of all her siblings because her parent are just not able to,
Yeah.
something's going to resonate with you. And so I write because I know it's going to touch somebody, whether it's a book from 2018, a book from today, someone's going to feel it. And I get responses, whether it's in my inbox or whether it's people, texting me, but people tell me and I feel like I'm seen. So that's why I write.
So, what role does your readers play in your writing process? Or do they not play a role in your writer's process?
They play a big role. They
Why?
play a big role. For me, I always feel like I want to make sure, like when I'm writing a book and it's going to be a series, I don't want my readers to wait long periods of time for
Mm,
them to get it because I feel like that trust will be broken. Because if I'm saying, don't worry, it's going to be coming out, and then I take 5 months to produce it, you won't have that trust factor in me to want to read a series from me. And so for me, I try to be realistic with my goals to make sure that I get it to them in a timely fashion without making the story suffer. Um,
mm,
if there's a reader who says, I love this character, you need to bring it back, I'll find a way to bring it back for Christmas. Like, I won't give you a full novel, but I'll give you like something a little small for you to, indulge in Christmas. So I always listen to what my readers want and
mm,
how they're feeling of what I'm writing. Sometimes a reader will jump in my inbox and say, girl, I hate that character. Like, but the book was good. And so that lets me know, okay, so you like that little spicy character here and there. So maybe I need to gear a little bit towards that without trying to blur what I have going on. So I listen to them in
Mm.
every avenue of what I write.
So, do you have a specific, what I'm looking for, specific reader um, that you'll have in mind when you're writing? Or do you write for yourself first?
I say 50-50. So when I
Mm.
start a story, and I'm almost towards, let's say, like the meat, because like I think of a story like a sandwich. Like you have the beginning, the
Mm-hmm.
end, and the meat. The meat for me is like what is going to keep the reader continuing to the end. So when I'm
Mm-hmm.
towards the part where I'm about to get into the meat and the cheese of the sandwich, I
Mm.
think, okay, is the reader gonna like this twist that I'm about to throw on them, or is the reader gonna be like, nah, I can't finish this? So I
Yeah.
always put that in the back of my head because readers is the type that will rock with you for a book, and then the next book won't be their cup of tea, and they'll let you know. So I always try to think, okay, I'm gonna put them into consideration, but not try to twist my story where it won't be enjoyable. So I do have them in mind. However, I continue to write what it needs to be written
Yeah.
before putting it out.
Okay, I get that. So, if you can give advice to a author who is going into urban fiction, paranormal, whatever, and have them start out on the right foot, would you start out with telling them about the marketing of it all, or just putting pen, keyboard, letter to paper, monitor?
The old me would say to put pen to paper and just keep writing. But the way that this industry is, I would tell them to be very meticulous on, marketing, on having a great editor. Because for me, I feel like because urban fiction books get such a bad rap for bad editing, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people, instead of in the comments saying the story was good, the first thing they will say, oh, the grammar was so hard for me to read. And so you'll stop the next person who probably is fine with that from reading because that's what you keep pointing out every time you read a book. So I would tell them to be very mindful on their editor, very mindful on proper formatting. Like for me as a reader, and this is not an author, as a reader, when a book is not formatted properly for me to read, especially like I read at work. So when my kids are napping, I'm on my phone, like hiding in the corner reading. If
Mm-hmm.
the formatting is off on my phone and I wear glasses, I'm blind. I can't read it and I can't enjoy it. And so I
Mm-hmm.
would say pay attention to your editor, your proper formatting, pay attention to your covers. A lot of people starting out are not able to afford all the prices that they have for covers.
Yeah.
However, there's a lot of cover designers who are affordable and have beautiful covers. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Try to get recommendations on, people on who help them with certain things, who's the best
Yeah.
editor to go to. Me, I'm a girl's girl. I will always tell this is who helped me, this is who edited my books. I shout out everybody who's helped me along the way. And I hope for their business to flourish just as much as I would want mine. So be mindful, pay attention to those. And then once you have that all together, enjoy the writing process.
What books, resources, tools does Queen T use that she don't mind talking about
Mhm.
to organize her stories? I don't know if you outline, because a lot of times y'all be like, I don't do that shit. I just write story as it goes. So, what tools, resources would you give to a new author that is looking to like do the research before they even write the damn story? They want to do the research to make sure they have everything in line, all their ducks in a row.
Well, I outline now. I do have certain books where I don't. Like I'll have the story outlined, but then I'll go off script, which is okay. But for me, I found like outlining helps a lot, especially if you have all these different ideas running through your head while you're writing. With the outline, you're able to organize your ideas a little bit better. So
Mm.
I don't have like a traditional outline. I'll just write like chapter one, two, three, four, and I'll write what I want happening in that chapter. And then as I'm writing, I'll highlight it. Like I use either pink or purple. Pink meaning for me to go back over what I wrote because something new came in. And
Mm-hmm.
purple is I'm finished with that chapter. Like everything, every idea I had is done. So when I open it again, I'm able to see where I left off. And so when it's purple, that means it's done. I don't have to go back. I don't have to correct. But if it's pink, that means there's more ideas, or I can like fill it in a little bit more so my ideas are not so scattered. Because when I write, I literally shut everything off. Like my kids could be crying. I'll call my husband, take them. But I shut everything off to the point where I'll just write. And then sometimes when you're writing, you don't realize the grammar's not there. You don't realize you don't have the punctuation. You don't realize you don't even have the dialogues on who's talking. So if you don't understand who's talking while you're writing, a reader's not. So then I'll go back and fix that. But I live by Google Docs, which a lot of people do not like because sometimes it chops up the book when it goes to the editor and you get it back. So some people don't like Google Docs. I personally do because with Google Docs, I don't have to carry my laptop. I could just log into my Google Docs anywhere, have it up, write what I need to write, and do it like that. But when I write, I'll have Google Docs open, which is what I'm writing, and then I have my outline, and then I'll put it side by side. So while I'm writing, I can look towards, like I write on the left side of my computer screen, and I'll look on the right, and I'll go through that and see, what is
Mm-hmm.
I need to go over. Another thing that I do is I'm a learner. If there's something that all the authors are raving about that'll help with more romance or adding more things to, I'll read that too, so I can understand. Maybe I need to be a little bit more softer in the romance department. Maybe I need to add different ways of saying. So I'll always read anything that's a writing resource.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my go tos: Google Docs, outlining, writing resources.
I'm gonna say that's a lot. That's a lot. God damn. Are there any upcoming projects, any upcoming books, any collaborations we should know about?
So I'm doing hopefully a double release next month because I'm finishing up two books right now. The second part of Chrome Bloodline, which is going to be Roads to Betrayal, which basically will pick off where Chrome Bloodline ended, and there's a lot of messiness and drama in that too. I'm also working on a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, which is more of like a spicy erotica kidnap trope. So it's like a lot of different things going on. But it's with a modern day twist. So that's dropping as well. So that's going to be first. And then Road to Betrayal is going to come right after that. And then I have another series that I'm working on, which is like an urban bachelor sports romance kind of thing. I wanted it to drop next month because I'm a big wrestling fan. So the first book was going to be about wrestling. So I was going to drop that. However, I want to finish these two projects first. And once I finish those are going to drop.
Ah, damn, you's a busy,
I
busy,
am.
busy woman. Okay, so how do you see your writing evolving um in the future, both like with urban fiction and beyond? Like, how do you how do you see your success?
Well, like I said, I've tried the whole publishing thing. It wasn't for me. So I feel I'm going to continue being an indie author and navigating my own
Mhm.
path. And so for me, I know a lot of people see success with getting licensings and deals and things and whatnot. Me, I'm not thinking of any of that right now.
Mhm.
My main focus is just perfecting my craft, getting better with writing more. Like I write books. However, I feel like sometimes I could write a little bit longer, but in the back of my head, I always think, okay, a reader is not going to want to read all this. So I tend to, cut the book short and then write sequels. So for
Mhm.
me, it's going to be ignoring the doubt in the back of my head and just seeing how well I can go without having doubt clouding my judgment. So for me, success is going to be to ignore the naysayers and just keep grinding the way I am. Like I said, I have the rest of this year outlined of what I want to drop, of what I want to put out. I just need to keep on that schedule and just take everything out of my head.
Mm-hmm.
That will be my road to success. Eventually, I will look into getting my own deals and anything that will come as far as with my writing career. But right now, I just want to get my books out so I can keep my name there and get where I need to get for me.
I'm gonna give you two more questions before we get out of here.
Okay.
Do you think that mom and pop shops are, if we as black readers, black authors start supporting them more, can outbid people like Amazon, people like Barnes and Nobles, because the black dollar is so important?
I think we can, but I think the problem is people are so conditioned and they're so used to what they're used to that sometimes it's hard for you to try to get them out of that space of you can go to a store and get my books. For
Mm-hmm.
me, what I started learning like this year, I never realized how many people want paperbacks because
Mm-hmm.
I come from a generation that's all people got. There was no such thing as an ebook. However, now it's so easy for someone to pay Kindle Unlimited or to just buy the book straight up and it goes straight to their phone. They don't have to do, they can do it from their bed. This
Mm-hmm.
year, I started pushing out more paperbacks, and it wasn't even anything that I put on my own. It was just people randomly just saying, "Hey, I want to buy 5 books. Hey, I've noticed that if we really did want to, we could. However,
Yeah.
people are so used to it that it would be something hard for them because by me, there's not that many mom and pops. A lot of them have closed because they're not getting the business. And they've tried different ways to continue being in our neighborhoods. However, people don't support. And that's the sad thing. People don't support the way that they should. And so it's hard to
Absolutely.
keep, the lights on if you're not selling.
Absolutely. In Chicago, one of the oldest that's been here since the 50s bookstore is on its last leg. And the reason being is because all the Barnes and Nobles and all of the black folks that own bookstores sold out. And they are pressuring him to get rid of his store. But that's where we've come to. That society is more about that dollar than a cents. And unfortunately, mom and pop shops are going through hella bullshit right now. I don't know why, but they are. So, how do you see yourself as a writer evolving? Because, like I said, social media played such a big part in y'all getting seen by the masses. I have interviewed people that did not appreciate indie authors, that said that, that marketing ain't shit. But people don't realize how hard it is to get people to see your content, how hard it is to get influencers to read your books. So, where do you go and how do you continue to write with all that on your head? Heavy as the crown.
Like I said, it's sad that they put us in that because a lot of us who are indie authors read those authors at one time and loved those authors at time. And it's very, for me, it was upsetting to know this is how you really feel about us when we're your biggest supporters. Like a
Yeah.
lot of those people who see us as like just fast paced, trash authors. I hate to say it, but I feel that's how they see us. We were their biggest support system. For me, I feel like even though that's how they feel, it will
Mm-hmm.
not stop me. It won't stop me at all. Like I have bigger dreams for just not only just my writing experience or my writing journey, but I have bigger dreams than that. Like I want to I've been for the last 3 years saving up every coin I can because I want to do like a mobile book station. And with this mobile book station, I want to be able to not only showcase my own books, but also other indie authors and also have programs for inner city children who want to read but can't get accessibility to books because a lot of the libraries tend to not have such a great selection of us. And so me, books was my first love. I loved reading. I always got a book. My mom would take me to Barnes and Nobles. We would get books. The library from where I lived always had books on sale for kids when they were trying to phase out things. So I want to have that same experience. Like I want to offer free books for children. I want to offer like a whole system where indie authors can send their books and get their books seen in New York. New York is like the mecca. Like every avenue there is people who look like us who love to read but can't access it. Like a lot of people don't know about Kindle from where I am. I have to explain to them what it is because to them is I just order stuff on Amazon. I didn't know that there was, so it's a lot for it. But I want to open my own bookstore on wheels. I'm not going to
Yeah.
have books for children, my books, indie books, and I'm also going to offer writing courses for up and coming authors who want to get into that aspect. But I have
Mhm.
so many ideas I want to do for that, and that's something that I want to work on even before I finish another book. That's a plan that I'm going to get down. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen very soon.
I commend you. Um, there's so much room to grow in the indie space, whether it's your business, publishing house, reader, interviewer, podcaster. There's so much room to grow that it gives you that leeway to do those things. So I hope you get it. I
Me
hope
too.
you do it. Um, my last question is, please let everyone know where to find you. What's your socials? What's your book group for Facebook? And your website because we prefer to buy them from you.
Okay, so I'm mostly on here. TikTok is like my biggest platform because I get so many new readers from TikTok and it's outrageous. So I'm here on TikTok. I'm also on Facebook.
Mhm.
My Facebook group is, I have several of them actually, and I'm rebranding because a couple of them that I had one with my best friend, and she's not really writing anymore.
Mm.
But my new group is the Queen's Court, and
Mm.
that's the group that I'm rebranding, and that's where you can find. I post all the time on there. I'm also on Instagram, and my Instagram handle is Ebony Bombshell. So you'll get updates on there as well. But I'm more frequent on TikTok. That's where I do all my business and everything. Right now, my website, I am rebranding. So I don't have a current website right now. However, when I do have one, I will have it up on my TikTok so you guys can see, and that's where I will be having my books. But I'm also on Amazon like everyone else, so you can find me on Amazon as well.
I just want and be. Do you mind if I do a little housekeeping?
Yeah.
I just want to say everybody who's boycotting Amazon Prime, I mean Amazon Kindle Unlimited, you do a disservice to Black authors. We cannot buy from the company itself, but when it comes to Kindle Unlimited, a lot of Black authors do not have websites. A lot of Black authors are just starting out. Don't condemn them because of that bald headed screwball. You know what I'm saying? Still support. Um, Boozy Book Tour. Yay! Boozy Book Tour. Raleigh. I mean, yeah, Raleigh, Arlington, Virginia, Orlando, Florida, Chicago, Illinois, and Las Vegas. Tickets are available now. We have some amazing authors in Raleigh. We got Meldo. Okay, we got Meldo, and she's a phenomenal writer. And Arlington, we we got so many. We got KL Hall. Um, in in Orlando, we got El Monique. In Chicago, we have a lot. Fuck, I'm not even. In Las Vegas, we got Jaquel J. And we have more authors signing up every day. So if you have not got your ticket, get your ticket. If you want to be a part of the Melanin Ball, get your ticket. If you want to just be a part of supporting Black women businesses, get your ticket. And if you are an author, tables are available. If you are a vendor, tables are available. And if you like to sponsor, packages are available. All on the website, bootybooktour.square.site. In the link in my bio. YouTube channel. I'm going to say this because I do have PR representation. I do, because your Black indie podcaster influencers deserve representation just like our white counterparts. We deserve it as well. So I am 991. If y'all can get me to 1,000, my PR person will be happy. And that money I can invest in doing better interviews for my indie authors. Because I love y'all. And I have my book planner, and which is the Black Girl Content Planner. I can't get into 992. Okay. I can't get into the Amazon for some reason. Somebody got me out of there, kicked me out of there. So if you want the physical, you can get it. I'm not going to get paid for it, and I'm cool with that because I want y'all to get that planner because it's 3-in-1: self-care, social media planner, and goals. We need to work out some shit for ourselves as Black women so that we could be successful. And my website is up with my blog and my reviews. Later this week, y'all gonna see new reviews, new blog. Yes, I told that bitch to swallow. I did. I did say she should have swallowed. I did. And I did say he had a micro dick. Just before you asked. I did that. Just saying. And if you are an author looking for a podcaster, Booked and Busy, who is in the comments, she also has a podcast. Please go on her show because she is amazing, phenomenal. If you are looking for an editor, Mark by Tiley, who edited Jaquel J's croissant, all of that, Infernal Gods. Yeah, she did that. Croissant. I don't know why I said croissant. Croissant. She did that. So if you're looking for an editor, look for Mark by Tyler. And if you are looking for a bookstore, to make sure that you get your books as an indie author in a bookstore online who does book boxes and makes her own merch, the Literary DFW is the person for you. I think I got it all. So, once again, thank you for coming on here. Yo, is there going to be a book 3 to the sports romance?
There is, however, it's not going to be anytime soon.
Hell.
Not anytime soon.
As I said, I was going through your catalog, and I was just reading, and I was just like, So I hope there's a book 3. Okay. And the Motorcycle Club, I think you really can go far with that.
I think so too. I think so too.
This is the year of motorcycle clubs. I just feel it in my motorcycle bones. Yeah. So is there anything? Oh, where are you going to be outside? Are you coming outside this year?
Yeah,
Next year?
I'll be in Virginia. At your tour. I'll be in Virginia. I think that's the only one I'm doing for this year because I got a bunch of other things going on with all these kids. So that's probably gonna be the only one I'm doing this year.
Okay. I hope you can come to Vegas next year.
Oh, I am. I'm doing Vegas too.
Okay. Come on now.
I love Vegas. I took the opportunity. I love Vegas. I will be there next year. Yep. Those are the 2 that I signed up for.
Can I say thank you for believing in us and our book tour? I appreciate it. You gonna have a good fucking time fucking with us.
I've seen y'all turning up.
If you drink,
I do.
okay. Drink a lot of water. Yeah. The turn up is real. The turn up is real. What you see on the videos is a small smidget of what we do.
All right, I
So
got it.
drink
Good.
a lot of water.
I
But
got
once
it.
again, I thank you. I can't wait to buy the book because I don't know if you're doing special editions for
I'm working on that actually. I'm working on it right now.
because I want that chrome bloodline cover. I, I I need that. I need that. It needs to be up here. I need that.
Right now, literally right now, like the cover designer, shout out to Shy. She's doing that now. She's just busy with school. So
Yeah.
once she gets that to me, I will have that because I'm ready for it too. I have a couple of people who want it too.
And if you do a book box, please go through Shannon.
Oh,
Big
I need
Black
that.
book.
I definitely wanted to do a book box with this one. So I
Please go
definitely
through her because she does shot glasses. She does uh the 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 tumblers. She does all. Please go through Shannon because her book boxes.
All right, I'm gonna need her information because I definitely want to do that. So I'm gonna need her info.
And because of that, you also need to look up the Urban Tea Room, but they do tea book boxes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Cause I've been drinking on this Victoria's Sea Devil Wears Baccarat and Mason Neiman box, and she got a just Quell J Delgado's box, and she got a Product of the Street E Bowser box
Oh
of
yeah,
teas.
I need that too. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So I need all that. I need all that. So once again, thank you for coming on. Thank
Thank you
you
for
for
having
going
me.
on my website, asking me to be on. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I was nervous, but thank you for having me. I really appreciate
But
it.
you was never. It's just me.
Girl, my kids make a bunch of noise. One, they're always coming in and out, and then all this stuff with my phone not working because of them, and then just sitting down. I get nervous when I talk about my babies, my books, and my babies. I get nervous sometimes.
Understandable. Know that it's all a conversation with me. I'm just chilling. I just like hearing y'all talk about your books. The questions I ask is because I want everybody to know how great y'all are. So that's all.
We appreciate you. We do.
And I appreciate you guys. And on that note, you have a good evening. And I
You
look
too.
forward to book two.
I got you. You'll be the first to know when it's coming out. I promise.
Please, please. But thank you again, and you have a good night.
You too.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.